right now, we are in the middle of a movement of people who had never seen themselves or in politics, people who had never considered politics for them. But we are also realizing at this moment that we are all a part of politics. We are all a part of our political system. So I would just hope to show Black women, other women of color, other marginalized folks, right, that we belong. We belong where we are, and we belong as we are. It means that we are expanding the electorate, that we are bringing in new people into this political process. That's how we get, so many of these first. It's the reason why we are still getting first, right? Because we still have that much more work to do. So I think it's a good sign, but it isn't the last stop, right? It's not the last step. We still need to make sure that even as we're getting women, that we're getting progressive women, that we're getting, pro-choice women, that we're getting women who are for environmental justice and for gun safety, right? We want to make sure that we're getting marginalized people at every intersection. So there is still so much more work to do. I want to see a Congress that has representation from our disability justice community, from our queer and trans community, from our Black and our brown communities. I think for me, the most important thing is making sure that we are getting money out of politics. It doesn't matter where you are in the progressive movement, what your number one issue is, right? If we can't get money out of politics, then we don't win a reflective democracy. We don't get more progressives in office. We don't get true fighters who are going to be about working class people, working families, instead of corporations. So that's it for me. It's important for me, first and foremost, because my people sent me here, right, to fight corporate greed, to fight corporate monopolies, and that's what we are going to do. So right now in Western Pennsylvania, you'll see that it's not just, me here at the federal level, but we have friends at the city level, we have friends at the county level, and at the state level that are all figuring out how do we make sure that we are all focusing on this so that we are directing all of our influence and power to hold this corporation accountable. If we're talking about a living wage and workers' rights, if we're talking about transportation and infrastructure, if we're talking about environmental justice and gun safety, common sense gun reform, all of those issues are being held hostage by money and politics, right? It's being held hostage by a few corporations, a few billionaires who don't have to pay their fair share in taxes, who instead get to invest them back into keeping progressives, keeping women of color, keeping us from a reflective democracy, right? That's why we have to prioritize that. We can't be a country that is a true democracy if poor and working class folks can't run for office. We need to make the connection between dark money and politics being a voting rights issue. That's a democracy reform issue. In the spirit of John Lewis and the civil rights movement, right? Democracy reform has to center around getting money out of politics so that we can all see ourselves reflected and see our issues, right, progress through our governments.